out of it. Mirage versus Golden Guardians, and as we just heard, Golden Guardians Academy have a little bit of work to do. They've come out of a Academy season that I'm going to say hasn't started on the right foot, and there are a lot of players that are familiar to this scene, that are familiar to this amateur scene, so it's a logical place to start putting things back together.
I'm really excited to see how they're able to perform because, you know, this is the first time that we've seen Academy and Amateur clash. And we've talked about this theoretically in Amateur for the past year. You know, we've been like, I bet our boys could take on Academy. They got this. It's an easy slap. And now we actually have to put up or shut up. And I'm a little bit worried. Like, I think we can do it, but I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, this is the start. Because one of the most exciting things about the last season was watching and casting Amateur with you and being like, oh my god, actually some of these teams are sick.
They're alright, they're good.
Now I'm worried because over the course of this season we're going to find out exactly how sick they are and maybe where things fall short. Mirage on the opposite side of the table are of course an Amateur team and a consistently present Amateur team, consistently showing up at the top of these tournaments. But they haven't always been a contender for first place. They've fallen short, most notably recently in the Big League tournament, so they have something to prove. An upset here would be huge towards securing them a slot in the Tier 2 tournaments upcoming, so we got to pay attention. Let's pay attention to this draft as we head into it, Matt. It will be Lilia on one side, Talia the other. We're getting rid of those junglers real early.
Yeah, it makes sense for what both teams tend to play towards. Both of them really love to play through their jungle. Rosethorn on the side of GGA and Hayami on the side of Mirage. We'll talk about it later, but I'm not super keen on the jungle focus here, but that's why you see all those bans coming out for Mirage. They want to push Rosethorn down as low as possible, try and get at the Achilles heel of Golden Guardians Academy, because they really do operate so much from that jungle position.
And we have kind of a fun theory that plays for both these teams, actually. Where, yes, they play through their jungles, but I think both our favorite players are down in the AD carry role. So I'm excited to see that Meech has Kai'Sa, a character he's performed very well on in Big League. He's a player to watch. We also get DNA on the Azir in the mid lane for Mirage. Opposing it, it looks like Prismal's got Ezreal, which is also one of Prismal's stronger characters. And they Camille up top to Tally.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Mirage's draft so far. As you said, Meech's Kai'Sa is really strong. Last time we saw it was in Big League. It went 9-1, so pretty solid performance there. But DNA has the tendency to not show up outside of his main champion, Syndra. So I'm interested in seeing why they wanted to go for this Azir draft, why they prioritized it so heavily when Syndra was open.
I think that's right. I think Syndra is really good for DNA. Syndra is a viable pick right now, but we are seeing a worldwide focus on Azir in the mid-meta, where DNA at some point, you can't be a Syndra one-trick and try and compete against Academy teams. You have to be able to branch out, and this is an opportunity for Mirage to show that flexibility.
You know what, TJ? I'm fine with the Azir as long as we don't see another Corki into it. If I see Azir Corki for another season, I'm just stopping watching competitive entirely. I'm gone. I am out of here so fast.
Well, you don't like variety either, Matt, so I'm convinced you can't be pleased, because we were watching Wild Rift tournaments the other day, and they're like running Shyvana, jungle, Gragas, top, and that was disappointing you as well. So I don't know if there's any point trying to appeal to your sensibilities.
It's all about novelty, TJ. Just mix it up sometimes. And we see the Orianna, so I don't have to leave the broadcast. I can keep casting.
That's
Happy
good.
about that.
The Orianna will come through. I won't be left in the solo cast. Topside Dragoon will get a gangplank. That's a fun matchup to watch, as the desk did touch on. Talia is one of the, I think, veterans of this game overall. He's been playing since like 2014. He played at PAX tournaments back when those were a thing. And he's one of the stars coming out of the OPL that we want to see perform, going up against Dragoon, an amateur jungler, or an amateur top laner, sorry. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, especially because we know Dragoon tends to play these bruisers up in the top lane. He usually plays that Darius is like his pocket pick, hence Golden Guardians banning it so early on. So I'm interested to see how he weighs up against Tally, who, as you said, really is a powerhouse top laner in the academy scene. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Next up, though, we get to see what Chime's picking, and he's a support that I know you've done a lot of looking at.
Yeah, Chime is one of the more interesting supports, I think, in general, because he was a Bard one-trick. He is a very, very, first of all, my heart's already sold. He is a very, very good support player, but he's been struggling to put it together in the 5v5s in Academy, and I think that's a really good overall theme for Golden Guardians Academy. You know, we just heard from Rosethorn recently that he believes the most important thing they can do is work on their fundamentals, and that's something we've heard echoed from multiple members of that Golden Guardians squad, where they have really good players, but they are not putting it together in 5v5s. And for players like Rosethorn, like their mid laner, they have a year of experience playing competitive at all. Yunbi and Rosethorn have been drafted onto and playing in 5v5 teams for a little over a year, and their growth is staggering in comparison.
And I think we were talking with Kelsey Moser earlier, who said that I believe this is the exact 1-year anniversary since Rosethorn first got Challenger. So from Challenger into Golden Guardians Academy within a year, it's someone to watch.
That's a really, really fun indication, because we've had a lot of conversation about Rosethorn kind of among the commentary staff and the people playing pundit here in the amateur scene, because they're very clearly a talented player, but they've proven controversial because Rosethorn is quite often the one who's making the ham-fisted mistakes with regards to 5v5 coordination. You can pay attention sometimes to Rosethorn's positioning in team fights and see that things are going wrong, and if, you know, you can't always say that something's an objective mistake, but you can say something's an objective mistake when the jungler goes for it and nobody else does.
And I think that's
when
something
the jungler turns for a 5v5 and the rest of their team does not.
I'm out, dude. I'm gone. What do you mean we're going back in?
And Rosethorn, unfortunately, is the victim of exactly that, where we are seeing Rosethorn be separated from the rest of his team. And I think that ties into the overarching theory we had. Do you want to talk a little bit about the two bot lanes for both these teams, actually?
Yeah, it's really interesting watching the mirror put up to the face of Golden Guardians Academy here in Mirage. Because both teams have really roam-heavy supports that love to roam, are most effective when they're roaming, but they also have these incredibly talented AD carries in Meech and Prismal. I would argue both of them are the best players on their team and the best ones to play through, but often that isn't the case because their supports are nowhere to be found. I was watching one game of Mirage earlier where literally Meech was left alone in a 1 versus 2 and got a double kill. Just by themselves, straight up double kill. And that was another game where their support was nowhere to be found in lane.
And Prismal, on the opposite side, is one of these Academy players that is sitting down there looking real good on weak Academy rosters. They played on the 100 Thieves Academy team in 2019 before we got the full promotion class from the 100 Next. And since joining Golden Guardians, we've seen consistently star performances from Prismal and teams that don't play to him. This is the season. I want to see Prismal demonstrate their potential to carry a team, and I want to see a team demonstrate what Prismal can do if Prismal is played to as the carry.
We'll get that chance here today, TJ, as we see Golden Guardians Academy going up against Mirage Esports in game number 1 of the second series of Challengers Uprising. And Dragoon already off to a little bit of a rough start.
Yeah. I mean, this is just what I love about Cup. I saw someone in the chat earlier today. I was just keeping an eye on it because we have a lot of people witnessing Cup for the first time. and they were going, oh my god, why am I bothering to watch the LCS? You know, the sophisticated leagues. When I could tune in here and get 46-minute bangers every single time. And honestly, that's what you come to Cup for.
Challengers Uprising, come wrestle in the mud.
That, of course, for anyone who doesn't recognize him, did cast, I don't know who wouldn't, did cast the LPL before you had to come home due to a vocal injury. So you should feel right at home here.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first things I noticed when we were moving over, was that a lot of the playstyles are that hyper-aggression. And we were actually looking at an interview from one of the players, I believe it was Chime, who was saying that the OPL kind of pulls over that same kind of style, where it's all aggression all the time, and it made Golden Guardians Academy have a much more aggressive styling this season.
Yeah, well, Chime was saying in the interview, it was with Esports Network, just to give proper credit to the reporting. Chime was saying that they wanted to get more aggressive this season. And we are seeing, I think, Chime trying to do that. He's spending a lot of his games rotating across the map with Rosethorn, roaming as that kind of LPL still support jungle duo. God, that feels bad to say. But what they're not doing is actually achieving things on the map with that. And that is, I think, where it falls apart, and I would be much more interested to see a more LCS sort of style out from Golden Guardians. Because you do have Tally up in the top lane who can play, you know, like an Impact. You can leave them alone on an island and Tally will, odds are, get a solo kill, play well. And you have this star carry down in the bot lane that if you play two, I think could very much be a mid-game win condition.
And it's interesting watching that from both teams. We talked about it briefly in draft, but Mirage is the same way, where Hiami definitely feels like the linchpin of the team, deciding where the attention is spent, where all the team movements go, and a lot of times they're away from the bottom lane, where you have Meech just staying solo and suddenly being like up CS in a 1 versus 2 lane. And the question I always have is what Mirage is getting worth not putting Meech in a position to carry? And depending on the game, yes or no.
I would like to note something that is pleasing me, Matt.
Okay.
Pleasing TJ Mark, number 1. Yunbi is on Orianna. Yunbi, I think, has really struggled this season as they play kind of more carry, you know, assassin-focused champions. We've seen some really rough performances on, like, Akali and Aurelia. So I'm really happy to see Yunbi picking up one of the champions that do better for them, where they can sit at the back of these fights and just kind of pump out spells.
Rosethorn looking up top there, but not going to be able to find the gank on Dragoon. TJ, I had a terrifying moment just a few seconds ago. My desk is a little disorganized, and I ordered out for dinner. So I have ketchup on my desk with some French fries I got earlier. I reached for that instead of my water and almost chugged ketchup. So I'm really glad we're having a great start here to Cup Season 2. Exactly what I'd be expecting.
That's really, have you ever just taken ketchup right from the packet?
No! I'm not a psychopath, really? TJ. No, I haven't.
I thought everyone did that at least once when you were a kid.
Never!
Huh. Okay, well, I'll file that under things. I thought were universal and are not. Our early game goes pretty safely. Neither team's taken any risks just yet, and this is something you can certainly expect from Golden Guardians Academy. Despite all of our worries about how Rosethorn plays or whatever, Rosethorn tends to be pretty quiet during the early games. He'll try and gank top once usually, and if nothing happens from that, if they don't get a kill from Tally, then he'll just sit tight and play the jungle farm. As we are seeing with an invade, Rosethorn kind of pressuring.
This is a really good movement from Rosethorn. You can see already was having a CS lead. For a little bit of a slow onto DNA, struggling in the mid lane. But I will say on a similar vein, look what happens when King stays in lane with Meech. Look, wow, Meech is winning the lane? That's crazy.
That is crazy. Because I do want to re-emphasize, Mirage are the amateur team here. And Prismal is the, I don't want to say all-star, I'm going to say consistently underrated AD carry from Academy. So it is already, I think, really heartening for any amateur fans to see Mirage being able to hold their own in these lanes.
Yeah, it's really early on,
lane,
but...
It's also Dragoon earning out an early lead up here in the top lane. Of course, that is GP in the early levels, but it's looking real good.
Dragoon, able to show that aggressive, and he's pretty inconsistent with it generally, but this game's a good one so far. Oh, Chime's here on the roam.
Yeah, will be backed up by Chime. There it is, engage, and an easy kill. Tally over the wall. First blood will be picked up. That was clean.
You can try and keep Tally down, but eventually he will find that first kill, and things start getting scarier and scarier from there.
They call that one the Tallywhacker.
Nice, because that's his name.
Not really, I just kind of read his username, Matt.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm glad you can find those things out on the fly.
Yeah. Reading's not one of my strong suits. Because of that early lead, we will get to see how it gets invested. And I think that's one of the things that I need Golden Guardians to improve on. Yes, you can get these kills over to Tally during the early game. Tally oftentimes just finds solo kills by himself. Where things fall apart, and I will harp on it, is once we get to the 15-minute mark when they start to take more complex macro engagements across the map, and we do not yet have that tasked. Yo, check that out.
Cool. I was just waiting. Oh god, it's a 3-man dive.
Yep. This is going to be real rough for Dragoon. They are just gone.
That was just like evil heralding there by Prismal. It was just, as soon as you see that pass, Dragoon's like, ah, I'm getting dove, aren't I? Immediately dive.
Imagine if it had hit them. Imagine if it, like, a little bit more synchronization with the Hextech ultimatum. You could have timed that perfectly. Hey, Golden Guardians demonstrating some of the cross-map team play we were just asking for, although maybe a little more literally than we were asking for. They're playing through Prismal, Matt. Drake will go over and trade Mirage, able to pick it up.
They're playing through Prismal cross-map. Not exactly what we're looking for,
Prismal
but...
started that engagement, Matt.
Technically correct. King on Rome. All right. Prismal, to his credit, though, has caught back up in the bottom lane, so good work there. Going for, it looks like, Essence Reaper first.
Rosethorn is bullying in the jungle here. This Talia is already bound. CS ahead of Hiami. Not something to worry about yet, but certainly something to note, considering that Hiami, I think, has had much less lane impact to date.
Just a little bit of skirmishing going on in the bot lane. Nothing to be afraid of so far.
I was a little afraid. I saw that Zenith Blade come in, and I fully believed. Ezreal, everyone says, is real good at disengage play, real good at staying ahead of hard engage tools. And anyone who says that has not played Leona into Ezreal, because you know, if you get that Zenith Blade onto the tiny little magic man, you will send him back. Here it is. Dive in. Stun up by the Alistar, but he's still locked down.
Solar Flare.
Solar Flare will confirm it. And you have the Killer Instinct underneath the tower from Meech.
No!
That was a little too far. Meech barely survives.
So this is something we see Hiami King and Meech do a lot, and I'm really glad that they changed their play. A lot of times you'll see them go for these engages and then smell blood and be like, I can do this. We can get more. Let's go for it. Let's dive. Let's dive. And predictably, they just die every single time. So I'm glad to see that they have learned a little bit of restraint in the meantime.
Willing to pull the plug on that. And it did work out. Prismal found damage there, but managed or did escape. Here's the full lockdown as I was talking about. It's like people really underestimate how good Leona's stun cycle is, even onto somebody high mobility like Ezreal, who does narrowly stay safe. If Meech like sits on that Q a second longer, I think they get that kill.
Stuck with too many targets, didn't do a whole lot of damage. DNA forced to blow the Shurima. Not even the shuffle, just a sad wall. Just a sad Emperor's Divide.
I mean,
you hate to see it.
Which part's the shuffle?
So the shuffle's when you dive in with shifting sands, and then you ult backwards, and you force the enemy over the other side.
Right. But if it's just the Shurima, then it implies that the movement is the shuffle, right?
Yes.
So
you
can we
have to
just
have the
call
Emperor's Divide for it to become the full shuffle.
Can we just call every single Azir movement a shuffle?
He's shuffling back mid? Yeah, sure.
Exactly. That's just how Emperors roll.
Sorry, I'm imagining
Red.
Redfu as Azir now.
Yeah.
Every day he's shuffling.
Correct. DNA. One of those players that has been, I think, much maligned by pundits. Certainly has struggled outside of their favorite pick on that Syndra. Certainly has looked a little weak playing with Hiami, who is adapting into playing with a different mid laner than they came up with. So I think this is a really important game for Mirage as well, because they're their own team trying to bounce back after, I think, what was a disappointing big league performance. And this is an opportunity to really prove something.
King will find the stun, but Chime is in no trouble whatsoever. Oh, look at that tracking.
Oh!
That one hit!
I don't know why that one hit, but he did.
There was
Play
no
it through
pressure.
Prismal.
There was no pressure.
Thank you very much to producer Joe. Oh my lord. Who's getting every single pixel of this TP. There are no more pixels from which to witness that TP, as they are trying to set up for Rosethorn. Rosethorn does have the Rift Herald in their pocket.
Just chasing down Dragoon, forcing the flash away. So Rosethorn now probably going to be able to get that top side tower with Tally. Now Chime going in for the engage. Won't find a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, you got to give this one up, Chief.
Shockwave! That is disgusting! Yunvi gets the kill.
So, King, get out, run, stop. No. Bad support. This is something that I was
I couldn't get this
observing.
blue buff.
That's the worst thing, TJ. They did the opposite of this in one of their previous games in Big, where they had 5 members at the blue buff. They lost a team fight of the Dragon. They were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get our blue buff, and we're going to make sure we secure it. 3 of them were half health. The enemy team comes up to them. They're like, you know what we should do? Instead of giving up this 120 gold, let's fight for it. They got aced. And
So you're
lost
saying
the
it's
game.
a consistent pattern that Mirage overvalue blue buff specifically.
Specifically that blue buff.
If I
on
remember
that
the
side
ball,
of the map.
it is exactly the same blue buff. There you go.
They have some sort of affection for it. I
It's
understand.
important to French-Canadian sovereignty you wouldn't understand.
Apparently not.
Mirage
TJ.
are struggling across the map. They have lost the first turret up there in the top lane. And of course, their mid laner, or sorry, their jungler for the blue buff. This Drake as well will be picked up very easily, making it the next in a long line of minor victories for Golden Guardians Academy, as they certainly do seem to be putting this game away.
And this is where I start to worry for Mirage. One of their tendencies is that, especially when they're behind, they tend to, I'm not sure I'd call it tilting out of their mind, but it definitely looks that way, where their decision-making falls a few notches, and they do things like fight over the enemy's blue buff, 2 versus 3. And that is a pattern that I'm hoping they don't fall victim to.
There are so many euphemisms for tilting that casters say that make it sound a little more mild. They say losing a little bit of focus, you know? Something like that. And you just said tilting out of your mind, but you said it so like mildly that I believed you'd said something milder.
Exactly. It's a little bit of, it's a play on words, TJ. Not tilting out of your mind, but tilting towards the edge of it.
Sometimes players do a little bit of what I like to call FF15 GG.
Well, you know what? That's not giving up on the game, so...
You're right. Chime is still here in the bush. We are past the 15-minute mark for what it is worth, so... Hold on here, as the engage will come through. King starting things off. Yunbi shoved towards the turret. Will survive. King goes down. DNA's in trouble.
Here.
And this is another disaster unless Meech can find something from this fight.
Doesn't look like he'll be able to. Looking for a little bit of zoning there. Half health already. Prismal doing so much damage. No way to recover from this one in a 3v5, TJ.
And 5 for 0 reads the kill feed. If you're like me and you keep looking towards the top of the screen, only to remember that it's at the bottom of the screen, I got you. That's what it says.
It's aesthetic.
Yeah, I like it. I just have to get used to it. Oh, this could be good. Tally does have the blast cone. And will use it in time. Zenith played in. Leona kill. It's the GP to steal it away.
It took them so much to take that down. Let's take a look back at this mid-fight. There's the stun immediately, followed by the Shrima Shuffle. That should be a kill, and eventually it turns out to be one. But they focus so much on the Orianna that they don't notice the rest of their team exploding. And as soon as Prismal shows up, you just have a man advantage here that is completely insurmountable.
Yeah, I mean, there was I get the, oh, I spot an opportunity. We're playing a team that might lose if this keeps going long. I get why King goes in there, but they had no vision of the surrounding area, and there could and indeed were tons of Golden Guardians members just waiting in the wings.
It's really hard for Mirage right now because you need to be able to find these perfect engages. Uh-oh.
Oh, hey.
Hi, chat. What's up?
Was kind of leaning in.
Yeah.
To this.
Hey,
all right.
It's the game.
I see how it is.
They don't like us, I don't
Mr.
think.
Joe cutting away from me. I get that I don't have Dylan's hair, but still.
Joe caught you off guard. Was like, you know what? He's not ready for the limelight. Dylan would have been ready.
Dylan would have been ready. Rift Herald is up as Golden Guardians begin to position towards it. This will be their second of the game, I believe. Rosethorn deployed the first one up in the top lane to get that first turret that they picked up.
I don't think they can really contest this, but King goes in regardless.
Ooh, good solar flare. Chimes in trouble. This is actually huge. Meech with the killer instinct. Into the backlines. Rosethorn's gone as well. It is just Tally to try and make something out of this. And everyone has read that perfectly. Mirage sweep up a team fight.
The only tally looking good after that one is Meech's kill tally, up to 2-0-0 now on the Kaisa. Thanks, TJ. And now they will be able to secure the Rift Herald off the back of it. So Mirage back in it. Yami might just die to this Rift Herald. Hold on.
Joe, show us Yami's HP bar. No, never mind. This starts entirely off of King's support play here. Huge double stun from the solar flare. And then Meech just spots the opportunity. He says, everyone is trying to get on me. Tally's trying to come around the side. There is nobody capable of fighting me in the back lines. Killer instincts in and fights back to front.
And this is, I do want to point out, where King excels. Their laning is not my favorite, but once they are out of lane, once they are into team fighting, finding those engages is a consistent talent of theirs. I have seen the craziest Mad Life Blitzcrank hook ever from King. It was beautiful. It was on an Orianna, but that's not going to happen this game. They lose another dragon. So that's, I believe, 3 dragons over to Golden Guardians. Nope, just 2. Ocean Dragon was picked up by Mirage.
It's at the bottom of the screen, man.
I know. I was like looking up to confirm and then didn't see it. Uh-oh.
In for this red buff. And oh no, yes, another buff has been stolen away. So Drake and a little bit extra gold go to Golden Guardians. That will compound their already existing gold lead. But Mirage did just show up on the map. And the gold lead is only a few thousand. A good use of that Rift Herald that is sitting, burning a hole in Yami's pocket. Could change that gold difference.
Oh, Dragoon's in a lot of trouble. The Weaver's wall on top of it. He's just dead. Again.
There was nothing. That was apocalyptic. The wall rose behind him. The sky rained with lead.
Happened to Yunbi too.
Yeah.
So that's good. They got a trade cross map. That's worth something, but the problem is that Tally is just completely uncontested on this bot side of the map. I think the only thing that can stop him is if we get multiple players down here, it would draw them away from the Baron. Golden Guardians taking it.
Yami will be setting up vision here around the Baron, and I think that's worth noting. Because we're paying attention to where that Rift Herald goes, it could be used as a setup for a major objective.
So this one, like we said, was just already doomed. No way you get away from all of that CC, even with your cannon barrage. But on the top side of the map, Yunbi gets caught out taking the red, and King finds the Zenith Blade, flashes over the shockwave, gets pulled in, but it doesn't matter. Zenith Blade with a nice CC buffer there. It's a free pickup there for DNA.
That is really, really good. Once again, King, who I assume is playing under an alternate account that's Durr. I assume that's still King and not a substitution. But they are a really, really good playmaking support. And we have, again, a little bit of a mirror there where Chime also demonstrates a ton of really good playmaking, but both of them struggle sometimes when it comes to the integrated team fights. I would say Chime a little less than King, but I want to see more in terms of finding opportunities for their team to follow up on from both of them.
I've been really surprisingly impressed with DNA this game, actually. Usually when we see him on an off pick, on something other than that Syndra, there are problems in lane. There are problems across the game. But really, coming into the later stages of the game, this Azir's doing all right. Only down 20 CS, up a kill. And I think that's really what you need as Azir, who does scale so heavily into the later stages of the game. We saw a great Shurima shuffle earlier on. I think it is worth noting that this is improvement.
That is the same... That is the same old Prismal has thrown like 4 times. Does
Prismal just have it bookmarked?
Yeah, he's got a macro for that. Somebody check his mouse.
Oh, looks like it's 22 minutes. Time to toss the true shot up north again.
See what happens. Nothing this time. But Golden Guardians, I think it does herald an important point, which is that Prismal is going to start to be a real tower in team fights around this point. Of course, Kai'Sa. Similarly, here is Mirage's Rift Herald. Heraldo Rift Arrow. Summoned here in the mid line.
Oh, Engage comes out from Chime, finds it onto King. Uh-oh, Engager versus Engagee. King's down. Teleport has been used by DNA, but...
Heraldo!
He's gone. He's gone.
And Yunbi's on the flank. That's actually a huge setup. Goodbye, DNA. Yunbi might be too far forward. Meech spots an opportunity and will shut him down. We'll see how this trading continues as Tally goes over the wall. Hextech ultimates him down, and an easy kill.
That was so sad. I saw Meech. Like, I got it. I got it. I'll save. Oh. Oh, never mind.
And take the best out of the Mirage carry. Yami dies. Golden Guardians turn immediately for the Baron.
Dragoon wants to contest this. I don't know, Chief.
I mean, 700? No, it's out to Will come out. We'll find exactly 1 kill. Tally's chasing into this. He's low as well. This actually turns real bad for Golden Guardians. Mirage have cleaned up 3 kills back.
Meech looking for the Quadra, trying to find it. King finds the stun. Meech gets the Q, but dies. No, Toledo.
No, I don't believe it.
Dragoon finds it.
A wayward barrel finds the trade back. Dragoon finally managing to bring things even at the end of that fight, as everyone was on a sliver of HP. Golden Guardians do have a Baron buff surviving, I believe, but they are going to have to run it back. They will have no way into this. Oh no, they don't have anyone surviving.
Yeah, I don't see Baron buff.
Died. Right.
Yummy. Chief, get the... Okay, cool. We're good. I was scared.
Because Rose Thorn died, of course, they don't have a way to contest that Drake, which will be picked up.
This was like a really dangerous proposition. They find the pick here, and I thought Tally was going to just assassinate Meech. But with really good spacing and good timing from King especially, it was just an easy triple there for Meech. Of course, falls down to those rocks laid out right there, the explosion. Actually, with the Scientific shove. All right. King doing a great job body blocking from here, and then Dragon, of course, finds that sick barrel timing, which was literally frame perfect. Yeah, I want to point that out.
Rose Thorn stepped into range. He messed around, and Dragoon made him find out. And that was just a really good team fight. I think Mirage are proving something, regardless of whether or not they get the win here today. They are taking Golden Guardians to the ropes.
If they do get the win, though, this is really important for them. It locks them into the UEA Tier 1 tournament because they are just on that cusp right now in 8th place. So this is a lot on the line for Mirage, and it is showing. Meech, especially with that 5-1-2 scoreline, has just been absolutely dominant in these team fights. And with this scaling composition, TJ, the later we get, the better it looks for Mirage.
And I do want to highlight something that is...
I see you looking puzzled.
Mirage is an 8th place team, right?
Yeah.
Like, they are a good team. But in the realm of amateur teams where people are like, oh, this is going to be a team that's going to be in the academy in a couple of years, these are the names to watch. Mirage have a couple of players, they look, but never been the hottest team on the block. So this performance, I think, either is a very interesting data point on the academy teams versus amateur teams chart that we're going to start plotting out over the next season, or it is a very interesting data point on Mirage's own rise, because they have looked like a more powerful team recently. And I'd be interested, what are we doing with this perspective, Producer Joe?
Joe's messing with us.
Sick.
I'm scared.
Can you show us top-down League of Legends again?
Oh, yeah.
This is too much. Anyway, King tries to go in 1v3. Full of a rough time, but survive. They're Leona. Oh, God!
It's top down. Oh, jeez.
Hold me, chat!
That's a lot.
That is something else. Producer Joe is, of course, our observer, producer, everything else. He's got help now. I remember when it was literally just him. Now we have a whole staff working behind him here at Challengers Uprising. It's really cool what they managed to do. Telling here, what managed to do very much, I think. There are 4 players on top of him, and despite the turret and safety being mere meters away, he'll go down.
Really good knockdown there from Mirage. I was worried for Meech's life there, but now 7-1-2 on this Kaisa. Once again, Meech showing that carry performance is possible. GA 4th is an itemization I really like because Meech is a large majority of their team fighting right now.
Here was Rosethorn getting caught out just a few moments ago in the river. And it was real easy. You can see something that is working out here. We kind of highlighted it at the very beginning of the game. But we wanted to see both teams play a little more through their AD carries. Meech has become the hard carry of this game, and he is just roaming around the map with the full support of his team. And this is working really, really well for Mirage.
I feel like they've solved the roaming problems that they had before. Shockwave again stops the engage from King, this time successfully. He'll be forced to back off.
Drake in 50 seconds. Baron in the same time.
So from here, Prismal is going to start falling off. This build is definitely higher early damage. You don't have to stack the Muramana all the way up for that transform, but at this point, you just start falling off a little bit. Got great healing, got some AoE now. Still tons of burst, but it will be less and less effective. Whereas Meech, just going to keep getting stronger, and I think that's the dichotomy that we're looking at every member on this team.
Yeah, I think that is a fair place to set things up. I have deja vu. I've seen this before. Dragoon this time, though, flashes past the turret, drops the ulti. Rosethorn barely survives.
All right, the third time will be the charm, TJ. Dragoon's going to find that one. But Mirage, with a brilliant response, move immediately onto that Baron. That's exactly what they should be doing.
Vision is there. Chime just got a control ward in, but it is too little, too late. Baron will be picked up successfully here at the 30-minute mark by the amateur team Mirage playing into Golden Guardians Academy. They're isolated and split on the wrong side of the map, though. True shot just for Vision. They need to win a team fight to get out of here with their buffs.
Meech trying to find damage, but on the wrong target. Yunbi goes in, a dive in from Meech. Huge damage, double kill so far. They might even pull this one off. Meech finds Chime off the back, a triple kill once again for Mirage's star 80 carry.
I do not believe it. Mirage win the team fight, all but ace Golden Guardians Academy, and now take that Baron buff. They do not need to reset, they need to charge forward. They have 40-second death timers. They could go all the way to the end here.
This is ludicrous. From a rough early game, Mirage just absolutely turned it around. The roaming gank squad has paid dividends for them. Prismal trying to find what he can, but Nexus turret number 1 goes down. Dragoon follows though. DNA is down. Prismal's looking to turn it. King, Meech, and Hiami just have to run away.
Prismal with a double, looks for more. Prismal with a triple, drops into stasis, buys time
Weaver's
for his
wall.
team, and you have the Weaver's wall. Chime setting up as well. Hiami has to go into stasis now as Rosethorn and Chime are frightfully close, and it is 4 kills in Prismal's pocket, looking for the ace, knocks him into GA. Here's the setup, don't take it away from him. There it is, a delayed but complete team ace for Prismal.
The unofficial pentakill in Prismal's pocket. That's got to feel good. And on the flip side for Mirage, that's real rough. They were just winning the entire game, so close, but overcommitted.
But Matt, I cannot stress this enough. Mirage, the 8th place team, the Shrug, I guess they're good. Amateur team has just taken an academy team all the way to their Nexus. This is still anyone's game 30 plus minutes in.
It's just ludicrous, the level of gameplay we're seeing out from Mirage. I had no idea they would be this evenly matched. Personally, I predicted that Golden Guardians would basically stomp this through. I did not rely on Meech being such a sick gamer.
Nobody can predict Meech's gamer skills. That's what goes on his poster.
Okay.
Meech, if you need me to say that again for your personal showreel, your Twitter account when you're applying for academy teams, I'll do it. I'll voice it for you.
Your ringback tone?
Do people still have ringtones?
Oh, I was talking with a ringback tone, but yeah, ringtones, I don't know.
What's a ringback tone?
Okay, so this is something that even I was a little bit too young to figure out, because I'm 25 now. And it happened when I was in middle school. So basically you could call and you could buy songs where whoever was calling would hear the song while they wait for you.
Into stasis will go King. I'm not sure how I feel about this. They're gone. That is Tally, sorry. Dropping quite easily.
The ringback tone
and
was
this
instinct
actually is it. Where are Golden Guardians? They're split pushing? There's nobody home. The ringback tone is going and nobody's answering the phone, Matt. That's just a free inhibitor.
At least they get to listen to some sick tunes while they lose the game.
Apparently what Golden Guardians Academy are doing, somebody turn off their Spotify accounts. They were on the other side of the map.
I'm really proud of both these teams, though. Mirage especially, because they are the underdog in this one, I would say. But both these teams, our criticisms of the way they had been playing was that they aren't playing through their AD carries, who are incredibly strong players and clearly deserve that carry position and to be played around. This game, both teams have figured that out. Both teams are playing around their AD carries, and the effectiveness is showing. 8-2-4 for Prismal, 11-2-3 for Meech. This is great games for both AD carries.
Meech, I think this is a star-making performance. Keep your eye on me for this time. We do still have a series ahead, but there is some capacity being shown here. Now the setup begins. This will be the next phase of play. In about 1:23, we're going to get the Baron, and that is very likely game ending. I didn't tell you. People might have doubted me when they tuned in. They saw the first game. It went all 3. It was a banger. They were like, yeah, but surely cup games aren't like this every time. Yeah, they are. This is just what we have here at Challengers. 34 minutes in, and Mirage, the amateur team, are taking Golden Guardians all the way.
Cup is just an English cafeteria. All we've got is fingers and mash.
Now you're speaking my language. They're doing it again. Golden Guardians distracted by setting up vision for the Baron pit, forget to have any control of the map, and Mirage might just get another inhibitor for free. Here they go.
Should be able to find this easily. Tally looking for an engage. This is Chime.
Starts things off. Chime will go in. Nice pulverize. Weaver's wall gets cut off, but it is behind them. That will stall things out, but it's so well played.
Shockwave.
Big shockwave. Presmel's in. That's what they were looking for.
Double knockup. Meech still alive. Might be able to find the kill on the Tally. No! So much damage and lockdown. The full ace comes out. Triple kill for Prismal. Golden Guardians may have turned the game.
But the super minions are in their base. They're going to be able to take the turret for free. Nobody's paying any attention to them. Finally, Tally gets back there. Okay, that means that they cannot end the game. They don't have wave in any lane. Closest is going to be the top side. It's going to be about 30 seconds. So they'll turn for the Baron instead. This still may be close. There's probably going to be a or inhibitor picked up, especially down there in the bottom lane, where it's getting shoved. But our game is still going. We may very well be going 40 minutes here.
So let's take a look at this one again, because this was what looked like a disaster starting.
The rookie in the mid lane here for Golden Guardians, less experienced than most of the players. Over on Mirage, finds just the biggest shockwave. DNA instantly has to stasis. Yami instantly has to look at a gray screen. Tally follows through. The veteran from the OPL able to clean up the fight, lock down Meech with the Hextech ultimatum, and that guarantees it's a clean team fight. Over to the
And because of the
Golden
way that Yunvi's shockwave and Tallywhacka's engage with the Hextech ultimatum worked out, Prismal was just completely uncontested in the backside of that fight. He was just firing off Qs, no problem whatsoever. And the results show he finds another triple kill.
Both AD carries have 11 kills now.
This is what we wanted!
Remember at the beginning of this game when we said both these AD carries are absolutely nuts?
We're showing it. Oh, huge engage! King finds the stun onto Prismal. There comes the cannon barrage. Meech is looking for it, has the flash out after the killer instinct, gets the kill onto Yunbi. There's the Hextech ultimatum to shut down the AD carry, but it's not enough. Still alive, no GA pops just yet. Tally's in theirs, falls down. Rosethorn Golden, now dead. Prismo, last one standing. AD carry versus AD carry, and Prismo stands tall. The Quadra kill nearly taken, stolen by Chime. Meech finds another.
What is this?
The double kill and the full ace. Mirage may just win this game yet.
Meech may just win this game yet. It is just him on the map. The AD carry for Mirage. One turret opposing him. 45 seconds on some of these death timers. I think he's got the game. I do not believe it. Mirage take game number 1 versus Golden Guardians Academy.
I cannot believe how this game has turned out, TJ. This was the last thing I expected. Meech with the style.
He is
Alt F4. He's gone.
A GA saves this game. It is that close. King with a deep dive starts this fight, and it's beautiful. Check out how quickly this fight splits. You have the full focus from Meech. He goes in with the killer instinct, gets headbutted away, finds his way out of the fight, and just deletes Yunbi. Next, Tally dives Meech up on the top side, and Meech manages to stay strong thanks to the stun coming up from King. Dur with 1 HP finds a massive Q stun, and the entire team from Mirage coalesces around it, keeping Meech alive. That is their only win condition.
It got a little sloppy around here, but the damage from Meech's Q was enough. Just the Acathian Rain. Watch it pop Prismal in basically one shot. There it goes. Auto, Acathian Rain. Prismal's dead. He's just gone.
Dead. I do not believe we get games like this. I said it once, I'll say it again. Welcome back to Cup.